Cut off. Sorry
Yeah,
about
that's
that.
the way to start out the show.
You ain't lying. We were just talking about that before we came on live. My screen.
And there he goes again.
I done text him. Why is it? Every time I get on here?
Well, if we ever get Roman Reigns on the show, we would have to play that music.
Yeah. Like I said, I was before we come on the show, it was like I changed my ringtone. And I first had Cody for a while, and my wife got upset. Like, that is too loud. You got to change that. I was, all right, so I found Shinsuke's. I played it for a while because I really like that music. And then I said, it's time for another change. So I found, started to switch back to Cody, and I was like, it's Roman's. So swapped it to his. I'll change it again.
And I've been thinking about using different music for my ringtone. Usually the only ones that matter are when it's Halloween time and Christmas time, and the rest of the year it's just kind of blah to me. And maybe I'll change it to that one.
There's an app that you can get.
I don't use that. I actually upload the music from the computer onto the phone.
Okay. It's an app called Zedge. It's a purple. You can see it there. One of those.
There's two.
Yes,
Kind of see it, yeah.
That purple one there with the blue D, or the purple D. I'm sorry. It's called Zedge, and they got all kinds of different stuff in there. Ringtone.
Right. So, welcome everybody to Marks on Wrestling. Another of this episode is actually going to be on Mother's Day, and that's not exactly a good day to do a live show because somebody's mother would probably kill him.
Yep. Or my wife.
Yeah, so we are pre-taping this on Tuesday night, May the 7th, and we are going to be talking about Backlash.
Backlash 2024 in France.
Yeah, and what a hell of a show that was.
It was good. I didn't get to watch it the day of. I had to watch it the next day. And
that's what I did.
It's really, really good pay-per-view. I stayed away from social media and all that, so I didn't know the outcomes until I actually watched. And man, they opened up with Bloodline versus Randy
And
Kevin Owens. Yeah, Kevin Owens and Randy against the Bloodline, and man, that match, it erupted at the very beginning.
Boy, did it ever! When
everywhere
it came out, you couldn't even hear his music because the crowd was singing it.
You know, we discussed this on Messenger and all that about the crowd pops and all that, and then that crowd was just, man, that crowd was on. They were great.
We
really into it.
There have been some really, really good crowds lately, mainly the international ones like Puerto Rico. That was a really good crowd. The one that they had in England, that was a really good crowd. But France, I never seen a crowd like that before.
There were points in that when they were singing some kind of chant or whatever. It had something to do with one of the commentators commented it had some kind of chant to do with.
I think it was "This is awesome" in French.
Yeah, but when AJ was there, they mentioned something about it was something phenomenal that they were some kind of French thing.
Oh yeah, I did see something about that, but
they were so loud, jumping up and down so hard that at one point in time the cameras were just sitting there doing this.
I noticed that.
I was like, oh God, that was so loud. And when Jay come out,
Oh, yeah,
that was like
definitely.
super.
I don't. We thought Sami Zayn was over a couple of years ago. And he was insanely over. But Jay, wow.
And the whole title run with Jay, he hadn't gotten a singles title. Not that he needs one for his popularity, but it's coming. One day he's going to be world champion.
Yes.
Down the road. Now that depends on how they go with this whole bloodline thing. Because I see in the future Roman coming back and Jimmy and Jay back together with Roman, and then having a feud between bloodline and bloodline.
That's definitely what it's shaping up to be.
And I think, not so much now, but storyline wise, I think Rock is pulling the strings, per se in the storyline for the current bloodline. They keep on talking about they don't know who the chief is. They don't know who the chief is. I think it's going to come out that Rock is actually pulling the strings and on everything that's going on.
Well, they definitely came out with a surprise on this one with Tango Loa.
Yeah, when he showed up.
Yeah, he was a surprise because it had been announced that Jacob Fatu has signed, and that was announced before Tama Tonga came in.
Yeah. I don't know if you noticed when he showed up and they started that whole fiasco there, pulled the referee's leg out, and there was some commotion and all around ringside. Well, the ring apron cover had fell down, and if you catch it, if you watch the replay of it, not their replays, but actually watch it in time that it happens, somebody else is under that ring pulling that thing back up and around.
I didn't see that, but I saw somebody talking about it. And somebody at ringside had their camera out and actually saw the whole thing where because of that ring apron, he actually mistimed everything for what he was supposed to do. Because the referee actually pulled himself out.
Really?
Yeah. It was just a split second off. Everything was a split second off, but by the time he got his hand on the referee was already coming out.
Okay. Yeah. That whole match was wild. When they started out, they're fighting outside the ring and fighting in the crowd and all that, and they finally get back in the area, and the general manager comes out and says, "All right, this is going to be a street fight," and it was on.
And Tama's back was ripped to shreds.
Between chair shots
Chair shots,
Table.
sticks.
He was eat up.
Welcome to the WWE. His first televised match. Everybody say that is his debut match. If you actually look it up, he had 2 matches in the previous week, and then this one here is his first televised match.
And I mean, his first pay-per-view, I would guess.
Yeah.
And what a way to set the bar with that match. That match could have easily been a main event WrestleMania match.
Oh yeah.
It was that.
Night 1 probably, yeah. One WrestleMania.
Definitely any other pay-per-view match would be a main event.
Yeah, it was really something else, and
it had a little of everything.
It did. Chaos. Was there ever a time that they were doing something in the ring that didn't involve a weapon?
I don't know. It went 19 minutes and 25 seconds.
Yeah. They spent more than half of that outside the ring.
Oh yeah.
What I really liked was when Kevin was setting up the chairs to do that final spot there, that he kept hitting Tama and then setting up the chair, grabbed the next chair, hit Tama, set it up, grabbed the next chair, hit Tama.
Mm-hmm. That last one, he wore him out several times with that last one before he went to the top rope, and it's like
he made him earn it, that's for sure.
Yeah, and once they got up there, it's like something's going to happen, and Owens is going to go through there. And they were fighting back and forth on that ring corner, and then all of a sudden he does a brain buster, I think is what he said.
One thing that I caught, it was, I think it might have been at the Rumble, where Corey Graves had made a comment that nobody had ever been able to suplex Kevin off the ropes, because every time they tried it, he hooks their legs and then he turns it on them. And come to think of it, I can't recall anybody ever suplexing him off the rope. He has always caught somebody at it.
Well, he did it again because,
yeah.
When he went through those chairs, I was like, that was one of them holy shit moments.
It was. And Tama, believe it or not, is 41 years old.
Really?
Yeah. He just now got to the WWE. And then Tango Loa makes his debut, and he looks every bit like Haku.
Yeah. I was wondering where they were going to go with after WrestleMania with the whole bloodline thing, and even with Cody. It's kind of like this build up, you get here, big, huge thing that happened at WrestleMania. All right, now where do we go from way up here?
Yeah.
And they're moving along pretty good, with storylines and stuff.
They are, but I actually found it kind of surprising that they would bring somebody who is not blood related. Because far as I can tell, Haku is not actually related to the Anoa'is.
It may just be that whole Samoan thing.
Well, I am looking it up. It may have something to do with okay. So Tama, who was Haku's tag team partner as the Islanders,
Mm-hmm.
Tama is brother to Rikishi.
Okay.
And that's not Tama Tonga. I'm talking about the Islanders from back in the 80s.
Right.
So that Tama is Rakishi's brother. So since he and Haku were tag team partners for a while, that actually does make sense for them to be together.
That whole lineage, again. But yeah, that match. I mean, if you didn't watch Backlash, and if you only wanted to watch one match, that'd be the one to watch.
It was definitely right up there. Best match of the night, aside from Cody Rhodes and AJ Styles, which was a damn good match in itself.
Yeah, somebody made the comment. I saw it was one of the first matches since 2022 where the World Championship was actually finished up with no outside interference.
I saw that.
So, I mean, they had a really good match.
Yeah. So with the bloodline, with where they're going now, Paul Heyman looks like a scared little puppy now.
And he plays it really good.
He looks like he is scared to death of these guys.
Yeah. Well, it's Solo. He's scared to death of Solo, as far as storyline goes.
Well, yeah, and also of Tama. People have said for the longest time that Solo is the enforcer of the bloodline, and in all respects he was. But I have never seen a ferociousness in him like we are seeing in Tama Tonga. He is just downright vicious. He basically looks like he's in a New York City fight all the time.
Mm-hmm.
And you'd never tell that he's 41 years old.
Yeah, you wonder how long he's going to, be there. I don't think he's there for a long haul, being 41. I guess it depends on how long the bloodline flows.
Well, I think the standard contracts now are 3 years with him.
So in 3 years, they could really bring that bloodline thing to a close.
Yeah.
Well, I'll say that, and if my prediction's right with Roman coming back with Jay and Jimmy, and then them two having it out, with Rock being a tier behind the scenes, I could see that would eventually get us a Roman versus Rock if Roman's in good health at that time.
Oh, he'll be back. I don't think that he's going to be retired right now, because with everything that's going on, and especially with the way that the crowd is reacting, we are definitely going to be seeing Roman back.
Yeah, I saw something on social media where he's filming Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. He's Shredder.
Well, I haven't heard that one. The latest thing that I saw of him was that he was doing a movie with Keanu Reeves. And according to Wikipedia, he's a part of a movie called The Pickup, and it's in production right now, but there's no information on it. Let's see, IMDb.
Oh, wait a minute. Oh, I'm seeing an action figure. Maybe that's what they were talking about. It's a crossover. Mattel, WWE, and Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle Target exclusive series, one official. So basically, they're taking wrestlers and putting them in the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle universe. Kofi Kingston's one of the Turtles. Looks like Xavier Woods. Roman's is Shredder. Maybe that's what it's about.
Oh wait, here we go. There are. Okay, I'm looking at IMDb, Internet Movie Database. There are 2 upcoming. One that's in post-production called Good Fortune, and one that is in pre-production called Action Force.
Okay.
But nothing on here about The Pickup. So since it's on IMDb, I would lean more towards what they have to say, aside from Wikipedia, because anybody can put anything up on Wikipedia.
Yeah. So they got a toy line out with WWE and the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle stuff. They're Series 1. And they've got wrestlers as the Turtles and Shredder. Rey Mysterio's in there. Seth Rollins. So,
can you imagine R-Truth being in that one?
Who?
R-Truth as Michelangelo.
Oh, good Lord. I don't know who Splinter is. You know, the rat.
Splinter. I would go with Nick Aldis.
With who?
Nick Aldis as Splinter.
That girl was Shinsuke.
He, I would see as that rabbit.
There was a rabbit in there?
Yogi. I can't remember, but he's from a different dimension. He's a rabbit. He's a ninja. I can't think of his name right now. I can see him perfectly. He's wearing this blue robe. He's got his sword. His ears are up and back, and he is like seriously straight-laced serious. Does not get the joke. If I were to see a part for Shinsuke, I could see him in that part.
You got Rocksteady and Bebop. You'd have to go with somebody big on those.
Well, in one of the more recent action ones, Sheamus was Rocksteady.
Yeah.
Yes, that was Sheamus in one of his few roles. So anyway, we need to try to keep this under 2 hours.
Yeah.
So, extremely, extremely strong match to start off with. They got the crowd going, or plainly put, the crowd got themselves going. They
Yeah.
were singing every word of Randy Orton's music to the point where you can't hear the music. And I had a hard time hearing Michael Cole and Corey Graves throughout the entire night because the crowd was just on. There was not a moment where they started dying down.
No, it was tuned up from the time they started to the time they finished.
Yeah.
Really good French crowd, and I would say that they'll probably WWE will be back.
Oh yeah.
That kind of crowd reaction, yeah, they'll be back.
Yeah.
WrestleMania, maybe not. But
Can you imagine them being in a stadium filled with 70,000 of those people? And this stadium actually has a roof on it so it contains the noise. And they reacted like they did there.
it'll be deafening.
Yeah.
You think it's hard to hear music or hear commentators? You put them inside that area, yeah. They're gonna turn those mics up.
I'm surprised they didn't do it that night. They had to have those capabilities.
Yeah. Next match was
Next match is the triple threat match for the women's championship. Bailey
Bayley.
versus Naomi versus Tiffany Stratton.
Yeah, they had a hard match to fill as far as what you just witnessed, from the first match to this one, but they were still, I mean, it was a good match.
They were started off a little slow, like they were all trying to find their footing.
The whole card was a good match, good pay-per-view. Like I said, I think before we came on, we talked a little bit about it. The only one that was kind of lackluster was the women's tag, but it was still a good match, even though there were several botches and miscues in it.
To say the least, and that wasn't even Jade's fault.
No, it was at the very beginning to right before the middle section where you could see some timing was off here and there. But a very noticeable one where they who was it? Was it Io? Io was in there, and she was trying to pin some.
No, it's Asuka in
Was it Asuka?
every scene.
Oh. Wasn't Asuka, but there was a miscue there.
We do that match, the triple threat match.
Yeah.
When Tiffany Stratton was coming out, I know about her and all of that. I'd seen her in a few matches, and I keep forgetting about this whole Tiffy time.
Oh my God, she kept doing that through every few seconds. It was like, oh my God, enough already.
Yeah, and I'm seeing all of these people in the aisle doing that whole thing there. I'm thinking, what the hell are they doing? And then I see her do it in the ring, and it clicked. Tiffy time. I completely forgot about that.
Yeah, and it was like to come into the ring, it was like she did it 4 or 5 times before she got in the ring. I was like, and then she did it a few more times during the match. I'm like, okay, enough already. We got it. It was getting to the point where it was annoying. And I like Tiffany Stratton. I like, the first time I saw her wrestle was back a few pay-per-views ago where she was in, was it match? Was it was an Elimination Chamber, I do believe. And I was like, what is she doing?
Oh, the one that was in Australia?
Yeah, and I was like, what is she doing out there? And then after seeing her perform during that match, I was like, that's why she's there, because she's actually got some talent.
She does, and she is very fast in doing her backflips.
Yeah.
Um, doing it 4 or 5 times in a match, it, to me, is a little bit of an overkill.
She
But
did it, I know, twice, maybe 3 times the other night. But that moonsault that she does, man,
oh yeah,
I love that moonsault. And
hop,
she's an ex,
then no hand jump, and
yeah, if I remember right, she's an ex U.S. gymnast.
uh,
She was in, I want to say she was at uh, one of the Olympic Games.
it says here that she practiced gymnastics for several years, but it doesn't say. Oh, here it is. She was in the Winter Classic, the Elite Challenge, and the USA Gymnastics Championship.
I bet she wasn't in the Olympics, but she wasn't in some championship stuff.
Yeah, she didn't win any of those, but she did win other competitions.
Oh, I
Uh,
see it here.
and she was
Uh,
also in bodybuilding and weightlifting.
Says she cites Charlotte Flair as one who inspired her to become a professional wrestler. So that would be cool to see her eventually, if Flair gets back in the ring, and see her and Flair wrestle each other. I think that'd be a milestone for her.
That would be a good match. Um, and also, she has been dating Ludwig Kaiser for the last 2 years.
And I saw something where they got split up in that draft.
Yep.
Um, and also,
Yeah, so that's not going to be real easy. Um, but Tiffany Stratton, the way that she moves, um, to me, she would be one of those that would be considered a generational talent, as opposed to Jade Cargill.
Jade's got uh, Jade's got the physique and the strength.
She does. Uh,
Um, I want to see her be more than a centerpiece. In other words, you got the look,
mhm.
but you have other skills other than just power. There was one where, and I know we're getting off that one match, but Jay was trying to do the gorilla press, and whether it was her or a combination of both of them, she couldn't get her up, so she just kind of slammed her down.
She did. I did caught that, but she made up for that at the end of the match, though.
Yeah, that whole sequence of catching her and doing this and flipping around, and I mean that was fucking wild.
That was. There's no words for that one. The whole crowd went nuts on that one. Um, but with Bailey and Naomi and Tiffany, it was a good match.
It was
Um,
a win. The winning sequence I would have done maybe a little different. It was just out of nowhere type thing.
yeah,
I would have maybe done something a little different.
because Naomi had her wrapped up and was going for the pin, and then Bailey was able to flip her over
and reverse it and get her to 3.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Bailey and Naomi double teaming Tiffany so many times.
And then at the end, Bailey and Naomi, standing in the ring together, Of course, I don't know what Tiffany was. I guess she was still on the outside from the wounds and all from the match whenever she got thrown out.
Yeah. And then the makeup between Naomi and Bailey.
Yeah.
I don't know. To me, I would be I think I'd have a hard time being that forgiven unless it was more, oh, you got me.
Yeah.
That's basically what it was. You got me.
Well, you think about it in real life terms, we're sitting there beating the shit out of each other, for, 15 minutes, whatever, match was. And then now you're going to be friends at the end of it. It's like, yeah. But, that's wrestling.
Beat the shit out of each other, declare a winner, and now let's go for a beer.
Yeah. Yeah. Back years ago.
That did that.
Back years ago, we were at one of these little wrestling events here in town. They would come in and you could hear, guys that are, feuding against each other. Hey, where are we going to eat after this? It's like, what? You're supposed to be against each other. We're going to go eat and drink coffee together? One of them being Sid Vicious, I believe.
No, man, that was one guy I would never want to.
That was a huge human being.
Yeah. And very dangerous. Okay, next match. The World Heavyweight Championship. Damian Priest and Jey Uso.
Get the list here.
Now, for months, I have been talking about how Jey Uso does this thing here with the fans, and he gets them all going. He did it at the Rumble. He did it at WrestleMania. So it's happening no matter where he goes. But the way that these people, the French, they added that little extra touch by having their lights on their phone.
I read somewhere where they're starting to turn all the lights off and just having people with their cell phones, doing the whole thing. So, I mean, it was like, man, it was wild to see that, this past pay-per-view.
Yeah, and even Michael and Corey were talking about there's like, this is nuts. We have never seen anything like this. And watching it for the first time, I'm thinking, holy shit.
Yeah, it was wild. I mean, everybody in the stands had their lights on.
Yeah, the entire arena.
And the whole yeet.
Yeet.
Yeah. That was at the very beginning where he's like, yeet, yeet. Then he was going to get everybody else, and that's when Damien hit him.
I know.
He did it later on.
Had their arms up when Damien kicked him. I'm thinking Jey is one of those few guys that has the whole crowd eating out of the palm of his hand.
Mm-hmm.
Last time we had seen anybody have that kind of control was Sami Zayn. And then the last time before him was a long time ago with Daniel Bryan.
Mm-hmm.
But
in the middle of the match, they were saying, you know, when him and Damien were tying up and hitting each other, it was like yeet, and then a boo, and then a yeet, and then a boo. Then it switched to yeet, no yeet, no yeet.
I caught the yeet no yeet one. I didn't catch the yeet boo.
It's at the very beginning match of them tying in, and then it changed to yeet, no yeet.
Oh man, that Jay is he is the hottest thing right now.
Yeah, he is way over.
And there was an interview that Jackie Redmond did with him after that. And even though we saw it, I don't think we saw it, but Jay called them the Fireflies, as like they were doing something in a tribute to Bray Wyatt by having their lights on the phone.
I gotta take this. Sorry. All right, we're back.
Yes, I'm talking about Damian Priest and Jey Uso. So there was a spot that apparently I missed somewhere. I don't know if this was on Raw or if it was done on the pre-show. I did not watch the pre-show, but apparently Damian Priest had told the rest of Judgment Day he didn't want them to come out to the ring. He wanted to do this on his own. So I don't know when he said this.
I'm thinking it was SmackDown.
Okay.
I'm thinking it was SmackDown before Backlash, and of course.
So the night before.
Yes, and of course they come out and was messing around, and he didn't take too kindly to it.
And JD, if you notice, he had a bandage on his forehead. And I had seen where apparently he had been hit in the forehead by Logan Paul, who was wearing these rings on him.
Mm-hmm.
And he actually contacted, his face was all beat up.
He had, now whether it was makeup or real, but he had these ring imprints in his forehead, along with all the redness and black eye and all that. But did you catch when he was at Backlash, when he jumped on the ring apron and Damien was telling him, "Yeah, I told you, I want to do this on my own." So you can't get that through your big, you can't get through that through your big forehead.
Yeah, so that's why I was wondering. Okay, when did I miss this? But I don't have cable anymore, so I can't watch anything unless I catch the highlights on YouTube.
That's how I'm doing it. And but I thought it was funny, because the camera was right there on him. Said, "You can't get that through your big forehead," because they're talking about his Klingon head, Anyway, and I was like, "That's funny."
And also Finn Balor comes out, and Damien doesn't even notice him until after the match is over.
Right, and he saved the match. He saved Damien from title loss.
Yeah.
Scripted, but
So Judgment Day seems like it's starting to go in that direction of what the Bloodline's been doing, but with what we're seeing, I don't think they're going to last that much longer.
Well, we've been talking about this for months about Priest turning babyface and
Mhm.
leaving the Judgment Day, and it's finally, I think, starting to happen.
The fans are ready.
Yeah,
The fans
they're
are ready.
ready for that push, and then then you're going to have a feud between Priest and the Judgment Day
Mhm.
to build up on. So they'll be feuding with each other, and I didn't see Mysterio out there, and that's a whole different realm of things with Liv Morgan.
Yeah, I've been noticing these little things of him and Liv Morgan.
I see him storyline wise hooking up with Liv, and then that's going to cause a big rift
Rhea.
with when Rhea comes back.
Hmm.
That's going to be a love triangle thing going on. I see happening there.
What a triangle.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, storyline wise, I would love to see uh, that take place. I think it would be a good twist of things.
Yeah, it is, especially since Liv is the one that took out Rhea.
Took her out, took her title. Well, she did take title, but
No,
just think
no,
about if she,
title. She doesn't have it, but she took a
right?
title away.
Yeah, but if down the line Liv gets the title and all, and that sets up. All right, I took you out. I got the title,
And
and I
now
took your
I
man. And it's like, I see. If that does happen, I see Rhea beating the shit out of Dom.
wouldn't that be fun?
I mean, he ain't got good track record with women hitting him. Becky punched the shit out of him a few weeks back.
Well, what was it? Becky, I think, nailed him good that one
Yeah,
time.
yeah, punched him.
Yeah,
And I think she actually made contact with him.
no, she did. Um, they showed the slow mo of everything. She hit him. His chin moved before the rest of his face did. She got him good.
Couldn't happen to a better person.
Um, so Damien and Jay, very very good match. Um, I no matter how good that match, the best moment of that entire segment is going to be Jay and the audience.
Yeah, yeah. The audience
It,
is just off the charts.
it was it.
You couldn't always understand what the heck they were saying, but they were excited about whatever they were saying.
We didn't need to understand what they were saying. Um, the crowd was just it. If WWE ever made a wing in the Hall of Fame for events, that event has to be on it.
Yeah,
Um, there have been events where the crowd exploded here and there, but this crowd exploded from minute one and never let off.
I didn't get to see and I meant to look that up on YouTube and look at the press conference after. I really wanted to see what Paul had to say, what Triple H had to say about the crowd and all.
He had a lot to say about the crowd.
Oh, you saw it?
Yes, I yeah. As soon as I watched the replay, I watched the press conference, and he had said that he had gotten many messages from people from several different countries. Hey, what do we need to do to get you guys to come here? And he said his answer is, look at France, look what they did.
Mm-hmm.
That's what gets us to come. But damn, how are you going to match? How are you going to top that?
It was, I haven't seen a crowd that into, uh, an event in a long time. It was almost like a concert.
Yeah,
Yeah, concert set where everybody's just going wild. They're playing all the greatest hits, things you want to hear, and people are just so involved in it.
it was the first major event ever in France, as far as WWE is concerned.
Fairly new facility too. It was like year, maybe less than a year.
Well, I didn't
Uh,
even notice that.
yeah, that place was fair. I think it was opened up in November, maybe. LCD or something center.
Oh, here it is. Here it is.
LDLC Arena.
Oh, yeah.
November 2023 is when it opened up.
5 months ago.
Yeah.
Okay.
Looks like they
So
play basketball there too.
they had over 11,000 people in there,
And you would think there was twice that many.
at least. At least. Um, that was by far my favorite crowd.
Yeah.
I dare anybody to try to top what they did.
And you got USA events that's not even that like that.
I don't
Yeah.
recall. I don't recall any arena acting like that before.
Yeah, they'll definitely be back to France.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, Coy and Michael brought up a good point about what The Rock used to do when he first came back. He would show the camera the goosebumps on his arms, and
Yeah.
they were saying the same thing. It's like, I got goosebumps just
Yeah.
listening to this thing. And I cannot imagine that had to have been an easy night for them to call, because even though you got those headsets, that cannot drown out the crowd.
No. Even if you got noise canceling headset. The best noise canceling headset I had, I believe, was my Studio Beats. I don't know if you've ever heard any music or any EVP stuff on the paranormal stuff with headsets, but
I don't do headsets. The closest thing I got are these.
if you want to, I know we're getting off of wrestling for just a second, but for those of you who are joining us for paranormal stuff, the best headset I've ever had called Studio Beats. They have a solo beats and a studio. The studios are bigger and they cover more of your ear like this does. And man, I heard stuff on that I didn't hear on regular headsets.
Yeah.
When I had them, I started listening to it.
Headset because my hearing and my hearing aids.
When I first got them, I was listening to them, just playing music, and some of this music that I listened to, it sounded so much better than that headset, and I could hear notes that I'd never heard before.
Really?
Even though I've heard this, the Striper's my big fan. I'm sitting there listening to them, and then I'm like, I'm hearing notes that I've never heard before, and I've been listening to the same music, for a long time.
With these, they're terrible. They are terrible.
They're more expensive, and I was like, heard them, so much, so good out of the music that I'm just like, I wonder how they do for EVP, listen to EVP sessions, back recordings. And I'm hearing stuff that I would get stuff from recordings, and I'd take it to Dole when he was still alive. I was like, hey, I want you to listen to this. And it put it in his headset, and he couldn't hear it. I said, it's the headset. I would find stuff in, the white line that you sit there and listen to your audio, and you're looking for those spikes.
Mm-hmm.
Well, it was to the point where I was hearing EVPs where there were no spikes. I was like, I don't know how many files that I've got that I need to go back and listen with my good headset, because there's probably all kind of stuff that I'm missing, that I've missed over the years. But that's a lot of files to forward. Anyway.
Yeah, the headset thing don't work out very well for me.
I use them a lot on live sessions. I've got a thing I put here, put my phone in, or put my recorder.
Mm-hmm.
Got a mic here tied into my recorder, and then I got my head jack going into my beats, and I can sit there and listen in real time to my sessions while we're doing it.
That's pretty cool.
It's really nice. But anyway, back to wrestling.
Okay. Now, I can't remember if they did it before this next match or if they did it before. No, it was this match. One of the French commentators came out and addressed the crowd. I don't know what all he said, but he was basically announcing the attendance at 11,628.
It was all in French too, wasn't it?
It was all in French, and the crowd just ate up every word he said. Now this is something that a lot of American fans need to understand, is that I feel that American fans are taking for granted what we are getting through wrestling, not just WWE, but also AEW, TNA. I think American fans are taking these things for granted and also becoming really dumb in such a way where when let's say when somebody says, oh, well, who do you think is going to win this match and that match? Whoever scripted the win. I hate that kind of fan. I hate that fan. These people in France, they showed their appreciation for that entire night. We could tell that they were so grateful for WWE coming to France and putting on a big show for them.
Mm-hmm. And not just a regular live show. It's a pay-per-view, a good pay-per-view.
And they treated it like it was WrestleMania.
Yeah.
So the French were showing the Americans how it's really done. And that's my take on that.
I agree. Yeah,
So
they don't.
Fans take heed. So the next match, Kabuki Warriors versus Bianca Belair and Jade Cargill for the Women's Tag Team Championship. 17 minutes and 25 seconds.
When they announced this match, I kind of knew who was going to win this one.
Yeah.
it just fit right. You know, they're pushing those two, Bianca and Jade, and just kind of see.
Now, my question is, do you think that they may be pushing Jade too quick? Because I think they are.
I feel that she hasn't had that many matches on the show. I mean, less than five. With WWE.
Her first match with them was in the Rumble, and then she didn't have another match, televised or otherwise, until WrestleMania. And then she's had a couple on SmackDown. And then she had a handful, I think, on the European tour before this event.
I,
Let's see here.
I want to see her do more in the match as opposed to just the powerhouse stuff. I guess see her more in matches to make a good assumption on how quick they're pushing. Because other than being very fit physically,
Here we go. She's had 11 matches total with the WWE.
and she's already tag champ.
Yeah. She won the tag team title on her 10th match.
And back in the locker room, you got to look, what kind of resentment that might be bringing into the women's division. Got somebody that just popped in here and she's already getting a big push. And some of these other ladies have been there for, 5-10 years.
Yeah.
I eventually see her and Bianca splitting up.
Oh yeah.
And going at each other eventually down the road. And I think Jade will be I think she'll be the heel. She just has that heel vibe to me.
She does. And it's a good one too.
Yeah.
Because the way that she panders to the fans and does this thing here, I can see her doing that as a way to taunt the fans after turning heel.
Mm-hmm.
She beats up the good guy, and then she does this to the fans. Boo! Oh yeah.
Yeah.
There is no question about that.
Just when is it going to happen? Because right now they're pushing the tag match or a tag, because they're going to wind up keeping it for a while. And I think a good way for them to lose it would be for them to split. That'd be an easy way for them to lose the tag titles. For them to go at each other at some point in time.
Or what they could do is Jade gets tired of her and then turns on her in the way that Ronda Rousey did to Shayna. Turn on her and then leave, and Bianca gets beat and they lose the titles.
I can see that coming.
Mm-hmm.
It'll be a while, but I see that coming.
Yeah, I think right now,
and probably WrestleMania. Them two tying up at WrestleMania.
Yeah, because there were a lot of fans that were wanting that this year.
Yeah, you have enough time to build that, to do their tag run, to build up that animosity between the two, and say the first of the year have them split up.
Yeah.
Maybe split up at.
Probably do it at the Rumble.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. Do it at the Rumble and split it at the Rumble.
Yeah, that way it keeps both of them out of the Rumble.
And maybe it happens in the Rumble. If they still have the tag titles, it wouldn't be that. Well, no, they could be.
They need to lose the tag
at the Rumble.
Yeah. Well, whatever. I would like to see it at the Rumble. keep those two out of the Rumble and defend the tag titles on the Rumble show, and then do the split. Jade turns on her, walks out.
Yeah.
I think that would be a good time that would establish both of them as well. I don't know if 7 months would be considered long-term champion.
Longer than normal these days, as far as the tag titles.
Yeah, as far as the tag titles. But it seems like every other title now is lasting a lot longer than 7 months.
Yeah. The match itself was pretty good. It was the weakest one on the card to me,
Yes.
but it was still a good match. Like I said before, and talking about the other stuff, it had a lot of botches, had a lot of miscues. Timing was off on a few things.
Tags, missed tags.
Yeah, and I had to go back and watch. I had to rewind it with that whole fiasco of her trying to pin, and the ref was like, "You're not the legal one." I was like, "All right, well then, get her out of the ring." They just kept. She stayed in the ring.
Yeah, and then she tagged.
Then she tagged. I was like, "That don't make any sense."
It didn't.
And I was like,
it was a good match, but it was also a bad match. If that makes sense.
without the botches and the miscues, it'd have been a really good match.
Yes.
And the whole confusion of the who's illegal, because after it was over, I was like, I got to rewind this. I got to rewind this and find out who is the actual one supposed to be in the ring. I was like, oh, she tagged. Oh, she tagged again. All right, this one and this one's legal. And of course, because at the end of it, when she pinned, who was it? Was it Jade that pinned?
One that I noticed as far as the tags is that I forget which one it was. One of them tags and comes in and does her stuff, and then she gets back out of the ring. I'm thinking, whoa, wait a minute, what's going on? And turns out she was going up on the top rope to jump on somebody. This one here gave Jade a chance to show a little more of what she has. When she first tagged in, she jumped on the rope and did this high body flying crossbody
on both of them. Yeah.
I thought that
She's
was
very
good.
tall.
Yes.
She's very tall.
The double team that her and Bianca did on Kyrie, where they were both doing the double hip toss, and then they catch her. And then next thing you know, they launched her straight up into the air and let her come down.
Mm-hmm.
That I like that spot. I thought this match was definitely better for Jade. It gave her a chance to show more of what she's capable of. But aside from her physique and her strength and her charisma, I am really having a hard time believing that she is the generational talent when, on a whole, there are several other ladies that are better wrestlers than she is. But that's not to say that she's a bad wrestler.
No.
But somebody like Tiffany Stratton, she is so good.
Yeah, if she'll stop that whole looking at your watch, 15 times during a session, because it gets annoying.
Mm-hmm.
But as far as physically, I mean, she's really good.
She She definitely has the physique. Uh, she's got the strength. We've seen that. We've seen she picked up Nia Jax
You're talking about
at the
uh,
Rumble.
you're talking about Tiffany?
No, Jay.
No. Okay.
Yeah, she picked up Nia Jax and threw her over the top rope in the Rumble by herself.
Yeah.
There's a little bit of a struggle there at the end, but she got her. I don't see. I don't even see Bianca Belair being able to do that.
And I'm surprised that Jax didn't show up during the triple threat.
Uh, she doesn't really have any beef with any of the triple threat. It would be if Becky was in the match instead of Baylor, then she might have.
Well, she was out there. Was it SmackDown or Raw? She was on a
She
show.
got drafted to SmackDown.
She was on a show and interfered in a match. It was I want to say it was a triple threat, and Tiffany was involved. Yeah, because Tiffany did her moonsault thing and landed on both of them after Jax beat both of them down. I think it was on SmackDown.
Oh, I don't know. I don't know, but I do know that she did get drafted over there. Um, which in my opinion, the draft this year was kind of weak. There wasn't a whole lot of switching around between Raw and SmackDown. I like that I like that they pulled 6 people from NXT, but as far as moving people from Raw and SmackDown, I thought they were kind of weak because there weren't many that they switched.
Yeah, and it was like with the first pick or whatever. We select this person. Well, they're already on that show. That doesn't make any sense to me to pick somebody that's already on the show.
Bianca Belair was first round, first pick.
Yeah.
That's saying something.
And I would say, of course, they had the was it Raw? They had Raw and SmackDown. They had the two war rooms set up, and you could actually see, some stuff going on there.
Yeah.
And then they would come out with the picks. And Teddy Long, it was good to see Teddy Long. You ain't seen him in forever.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, the Dudleys were there, and then they're announcing the NXT, pulling the NXT wrestlers off, and to me it was like I don't think they knew that they're getting drafted because some of the reactions look very surprised of being selected.
There was on the one that Bruce on the podcast that Bruce Pritchard does. He talked at great length about the draft. He said, as far as the talent goes, almost nobody knows where they're going. So when you see their reaction, it is legit.
It reminds me of back when they first did the draft, and Undertaker was in his American Badass gear, his badass gimmick. He gets selected, and he's like, stands up like, what? He looked like he was pissed off.
I remember that, yeah. I remember that. And then he ends up making SmackDown his place.
Yeah.
But yeah, I was kind of disappointed in the draft this year. I think it would have been better if the champions had been up for grabs. Damian Priest goes to SmackDown while Cody stays on Raw because he's got the top belt.
Mm-hmm.
And generally you would think that the top belt would stay on Raw, and that was where Cody got his
His
fan.
push.
Really, yeah.
Yeah, and I thought I saw something somewhere where they're talking about the tag title, the women's tag title, that they can go to either or.
The women's tag titles, they are drafted to a particular brand, but whoever has the titles can go to all three brands.
There'd be a nice little twist there to throw them in the NXT. Defend the titles on NXT one night.
I think they have.
Have they?
I think so. Um, yeah, I think they have, especially since they have merged the NXT women's tag titles not that long ago, about a year ago.
So, as long as I hope that the way the direction they're going now, that they don't have title for title and unify any titles anymore. It's just I was never a fan of that.
Well, no, but I am also not a big fan of having too many titles. Um, they are bringing in the women's North American title to NXT, which I agree with because they have a large roster of women wrestlers. They have a larger roster than the main roster does.
Mm-hmm.
And people are saying that the main roster needs a secondary title, and I don't think they really have enough to be able to do that.
You talking about the other brands,
On
SmackDown and Raw?
SmackDown and Raw, talking about having a women's secondary title, like a women's intercontinental champion. I don't think they have a big enough roster to be able to support that.
Well, maybe bringing in a few of these NXT women. Maybe that's the direction they're kind of going, trying to build that women's division up a lot more because you got a few females out right now with injuries.
Yes. Yeah.
And that may be one reason they pulled so many women from NXT to bring into the main shows because you've got
even without the injuries,
out.
they still needed to pull them in because they're good. It's time for them to move up to that next level. I'm really glad to see Tiffany Stratton moved up. I'd like to see Fallon Henley moved up. I don't know how I feel about Lyra Valkyria. I haven't really watched her a whole lot. Same with Roxanne Perez. I haven't really watched her a whole lot. But there are some that I think need to go. I'm glad to see Tiffany go up there. I would like to see Fallon Henley go up there. Let's see, get to personnel. Women's division. Cora Jade is another good one.
I want to look at something.
Nikita Lyons was really something. And then I've been hearing about some of these others, but I haven't had a chance to watch them. Like I've been hearing about Ruka, Tatum Paxley, Lola Vice. I've heard about them, but I haven't watched them. Lash Legend, I think, is about ready to be moved up. She's gotten really good. She's a powerhouse. She is the one who slammed Otis.
All right, Roxanne Perez, real name is Carla Gonzalez. When you said Perez, it kind of made me think of Al Perez back in. I wonder if she's related, but it's her stage, her ring name.
Yeah, Roxanne Perez. Her real name is Carla Gonzalez. But anyway, we got 30 minutes before we need to wrap this up. Of course, I'll be cutting out the few minutes that we had that silence in there.
Yeah.
So that'll give us a little bit. So I honestly think that they're probably pushing Jade too quick because it was only her 10th match in the WWE, and now already she's a tag team champion. But she has that name recognition already.
Mm-hmm. And she stands out amongst the crowd.
She stands out big time, yes.
And I see that a positive for her character. She reminds me of a Marvel Universe Storm.
A lot of people have been comparing her to Storm.
With the blonde hair, the almost white blonde hair.
I thought it was great.
Do what?
Yeah, it looks white to me.
Yeah. Yeah, it reminds me of trying to think of who played Storm back in the day. She was a big movie star back then.
Haley Bailey.
Yeah, that's her. Halle Berry. Yeah, she had the whole white hair thing going.
Yeah, so Jade is definitely has that name brand recognition. But now they are kind of backing themselves into a corner. Okay, she's undefeated. Now she has a title, and she hasn't even been with us more than a few months. Now she's going to have to lose at some point.
Mm-hmm.
I think that they probably should have let her go and build a winning streak for a while and then put a title on her.
Yeah, it may be the fact of Kabuki Warriors. You know, who are we gonna put together to challenge them for the tag titles? The fact that they didn't have really a storyline to go with, putting together a tag team, because there's really not that many women's tag teams.
There isn't.
That's another thing they need to work on and build up some women to go against. Because right now you don't have anybody.
Well, one team that they did have was Alba Fire and who was it? Okay, Alba Fire and Isla Dawn. So I haven't really seen much of anything from those two, but they did get drafted to Raw, and now they are called the Unholy Union.
Another thing, they came to the ring as, if I remember right, they came to the ring separately. Yeah, they came out to their
they
own.
goth theme to
Do
their
what?
entrance. I know they had a goth theme to their entrance.
I'm talking about Jade and Bianca.
Oh, Jade and Bianca. Yeah, Bianca
Even
came
though,
out all the way to the ring, and then Jade came out. Uh, so I thought that was kind of interesting. If you're going to put those two as a power team together, you need to bring them out together.
hmm do it like you do, like um,
Come out like the Road Warriors.
yeah, that's kind of what they look to me as being a female version, even though they're not, dressed up a lot like them, but
No, but
a
they are
powerhouse team.
they are probably the two strongest females in all of WWE. Those two. Um, but my personal opinion, I think it's too soon to give them the titles because they haven't really had a chance to really chase anything.
Right. I see, like I said, I see them. Maybe they're doing this to set up for WrestleMania. Let's have them run for a little while. Let's eventually have them split up and wrestle each other.
And that would make sense. That would make sense. Maybe Jade feels like they're getting stale or something. Whatever it is to make her turn on Bianca.
Yeah.
Or it could be the other way, where Bianca turns on Jade. Bianca's the one who turns heel and then joins the Street Profits and Bobby Lashley.
I can see that also.
Yeah.
You wouldn't expect her to turn.
No, but I think there have been fan wise there has been talk about that. And it would make sense, give her a chance to join Montez. Um, but we'll see.
Who knows? Who knows?
Yeah.
All right, last match.
Main event, yes.
Yeah, last match. Main event. Like I said before, I read somewhere it was the first match that they haven't had outside interference in a title match since back in 2022.
Yeah.
Uh,
AJ Styles comes out, and the fans are just blowing him up. And then Cody comes out, and very much like Randy Orton, the fans are singing his song so loud
drowned out the music.
Yeah, you cannot hear his music.
And even after it went off, the music quit. They're in the ring and they're still singing.
Yes,
singing the lines.
It's like the crowd planned this because they stopped all at the same time. How can you describe these fans?
Just like I said, it's like a rock concert.
Yeah. And speaking of which, I think it was in the same arena when they had SmackDown the night before.
Mm-hmm.
Paul Heyman comes out. Randy and Kevin were doing the RKO show.
Mm-hmm.
And Paul Heyman comes out and he starts doing this, ladies and gentlemen, and the fans took over.
Mm-hmm.
And you can just see that smile on his face that you knew he was loving it. It it is going to be extremely hard for anyone to top that.
Yeah. Can you imagine if they brought in the Wyatt Six during this pay-per-view? That would have been epic. As far as fans wise,
Yeah,
interaction would have been wild. And I did see during I think they were talking about. I think was it Michael Cole? I think Cole was talking about the week long visit there in France and all that. They were going and visit some of these places, some of these famous places over there. And there was that, you had the little glitch and you had the QC code pop up for just a split second during the pay per view.
yeah.
I would say SummerSlam. I would say SummerSlam is where it's going to come, where they're going to show up. Talking about Uncle Howdy and
The Wyatt Six.
yeah.
Oh, that's 3 more months.
I see them building it up to SummerSlam.
Oh man, I don't know if I want to wait that long to see them all.
I'm ready for it now, but I see that. There's speculation of who all it's going to be. Is it going to be Alexa Bliss? I see her.
There was a list. There was a list put out, basically confirming who was going to be in Wyatt Six. It was going to be Bo Dallas,
Mm-hmm.
Eric Rowan, Nikki Cross.
That would make sense to her character back, a few months back where she was, spatting out, and, staring.
Dexter Loomis. I really enjoyed watching him. Joe Gacy. He's from NXT.
You've got to have Alexa in there.
She's the only other one, but they didn't have her officially listed, probably because she's still on maternity leave.
Right.
But she had the baby 6 months ago. And before she had the baby, she also had that skin cancer thing that she had to deal with too. So who knows?
I mean, with bringing them in, you got to have her back.
Yeah.
At all possible, you got to have her back. I'm ready. I'm ready to see them come back. And when they do, it's going to be big. If you got the right setting and the right crowd, it's going to be huge.
I think that when it comes to Bray Wyatt, no matter where they're going to be, it's going to be a good crowd.
She already got the Fireflies when they're doing and they're showing a lot of this stuff when it's off air.
Yeah.
So you're having to pull up videos from people there, videoing the segments and the songs popping up and the videos popping up and the old Fireflies, crowd going, and it's like
this last one here they put out. It sounds like they're just about ready to debut.
And I was watching a video of this one guy. He was deciphering one of the sequences where the video and pulling up the different symbols and all that, and going really in depth. And these Easter eggs they're putting in there, man. It's like very deep.
Mhm.
It's very deep because I was sitting there after watching the video. I was like, all right, what's this crow and what's this symbol? What does that symbol mean? So I was looking it up. I'm doing the thing. I'm like, I don't understand what the symbol is, and little things there. They had like,
It's like Sting.
yeah, they had like this these words mixed in with at the video, and some of the stuff is hidden in the video that you can't see it while you're sitting there watching it. But if you highlight the bottom of the video, you see a code. That's not even it's black. But if you highlight it in that sequence, you can see this code, and you put that code in, and it brings this whole other thing up on Google. And then there was a thing with Pluto. I was like, what is this? And then I got to thinking like, what's the symbol for? I started searching that symbol. The cross with the arch with the circle.
Yeah.
And I couldn't find anything on it. And then I typed in, just out of whim, I was like, Pluto. What's the symbol for Pluto? And it's that symbol.
What is it?
It's that. If you look up the Pluto symbol in the zodiac,
Okay.
it's actually that symbol that they're putting up. The
Huh.
whole cross with the arch, upside down arch with a circle. It's a Pluto symbol.
Okay. There was another thing that they did was that they put the word believe in the lower corner. And then all of a sudden, very quick, the first E turned into an O for just a second. Then it went away. Believe. Remember that?
Both. Yeah.
Yeah.
Both. Yeah.
All
Just
you gotta do is believe. Oh
yeah,
man, that was so annoying.
it's some deep stuff, with this whole Wyatt.
And that
Wyatt
makes sense
stuff.
because that's what Bray Wyatt did.
Yeah, it's just really in-depth clues that you have to dig and try to find out, the clues and all.
Yeah.
So it's
When they come out, it's going to be big.
the crowd's going to go nuts when
Back
Howdy
to
shows up.
Cody and AJ, because we got less than 20 minutes here.
Yeah, it was a really good match between both of them.
Yeah, they went up half an hour.
And you knew Cody's not going to lose the title that quick.
Oh yeah.
They're going to run him for a while.
I still think that he will hold the title until SummerSlam next year. That's what I'm calling. He will lose the title at SummerSlam 25.
At an undetermined opponent.
Right.
I don't know who's going to be at that point in time. I don't see him losing at WrestleMania next year.
Yeah.
I see him going through there also. Yeah, he is just so over right now. It's crazy. The one closest to that is Jay.
If Jay isn't more over. If you take the two entrances between Jay and Cody on that night, I would have to give the nod to Jay.
It's close. It's close. What if down the line, and that's a long time. If you say SummerSlam next year, Jay versus Cody.
Only if Jay gets drafted to SmackDown.
Well, a lot will happen between now and then. It's a long time off.
Yeah, a lot can happen. But right now, Cody has got a whole new roster of opponents. And he was even naming them off. LA, Randy. Yeah, he's got a whole roster of people that he can face.
And it would be nice to see matches without interference. You know.
Yeah.
For a little while anyway. You know, there's always that. And I would like to see not just the regular matches. I would like to see some cage matches popped in.
Yeah.
You know, maybe Hell in a Cell. Um, something up to ante. With just having two guys coming in a regular match. Not that it was a bad match. It was a really good match the other night.
Oh yeah, the crowd. Again, the crowd. They
Yeah.
they just elevated that match.
Yeah, and they were say equally, but they were very loud for um, Cody, of course, singing all singing the song and all that. But they were just as loud with AJ. As far as in the match when they were doing that little singing chant, or whatever it was, it had something to do with.
Can you imagine a crowd like that and Hulk Hogan in his prime?
Back in the day before everybody was tired of seeing him constantly get the title.
And people will get tired of Cody too.
Well, they got tired of running.
They did. Now that Roman's gone, people want him back.
Yeah. And it's just because of the whole way the bloodline thing is going.
It is, but still, the crowd
And,
wants him back.
yeah, they were chanting his name during the first match.
Yeah.
We want Roman. We want Roman.
So that tells you that, like him or not, Roman did something right.
Yeah. He's one of the best heels, I'd say ever. When you're hated that much and a crowd just all the different chants they would throw out at him.
Yeah. And then he goes away, and what happens? Less than 1 week later, people are chanting for him.
Yeah, it's that villain thing. Even though he's bad, they want to see him. And there's a lot of Roman fans that like Roman.
Yeah.
As far as the character and all that. It's kind of like that heel. You're a heel, but you're still way over.
Yeah.
You're still way over on a lot of people.
But he's not the anti-hero like Steve Austin.
Right. He's a traditional heel.
Yeah.
And it's like, back in the day when Taker, I mean, doesn't matter. Doesn't matter if he's playing the baby face or a heel. He's a crowd favorite, regardless.
Oh yeah. Well, that's because Undertaker had earned the respect to the point where no matter what he did, the fans are behind him.
Yeah. Other than when he beat the shit out of JR. I mean, I still liked him, but I was like, when he was getting that whole heel turn back then, I was like, how are they going to turn him into where people don't like him? And then when he hit JR, it's like,
the way to do it.
I guess that's the way you could do it.
Yeah.
Good old JR.
I know. So Cody and AJ did some fantastic moves. Then Cody hits the super.
Oh my God! Yes.
Cody cutter
off the top. I was like, oh
yeah.
My Lord.
And he suspended himself on that rope for a second or two before he leapt off of it, which cannot be easy.
That was an awesome move.
He nailed him with that, and then he hits him with one crossroads.
I figured they would have done a couple crossroads.
Yeah. But lately, Cody had been doing 3 crossroads to do the victory,
Right.
like what he did with Roman.
Yeah.
And he also did it with Brock at SummerSlam. 3 crossroads and he got the win.
Yeah. I wonder, it was a time restraint thing. It's like, all right, we got to finish this thing up.
Yeah. So with AJ, he only did the crossroads one time, 1, 2, 3.
Well, considering he just come off the top rope with a Cody card.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's like, okay, I don't need 2 more. I should be able to pin him now.
And he did.
Oh.
Very good match. 27 minutes, 20 seconds. It's setting the standard that the last match is now going to be running at about a half an hour. Because most of Roman's matches lasted about a half hour before finally getting a win. And now I'm starting to think that going forward, that's what they're going to do. We got 8 minutes.
Just want to kind of throw this out there real quick before we leave. Get that name up again. Jessica Carr. She was the referee for the main event.
Mm-hmm.
And it was one of the first, or if not the first, female referee for a main event title match.
She's the first full-time female referee to do that. Not first female referee, because that actually goes to AJ Lee. There was the thing where CM Punk and Bryan Danielson, Daniel Bryan at the time.
But that was guest referee?
She was a guest referee, yes. So as far as full-time female referees, Jessica Carr is the first. And she's good at it.
Yeah, props to WWE for pushing that out there.
Yep. So
I'm sure Stephanie had something to do with that.
Oh yeah, no doubt. So now,
but all in all, it was a good match.
It was a very good match, very good ending, and once again, the crowd was into it. The crowd took us home.
Yep.
So yeah,
I would say it was still a great card. Good matches. The crowd just made it that much better.
They did.
It's one of those pay-per-views what I would go back and watch. I'd go back and watch this pay-per-view again.
Just to listen to the crowd.
Yeah, and just to see different things that you didn't see the first time. It's like Braveheart. Movie Braveheart. You watch that several times and watch not necessarily the main characters, but watch what's going on behind the scenes. Doing your fight scenes and all. That's very interesting stuff.
It was. There's no doubt that they're going to be back there sometime. I'm sure they'll do a pay-per-view over there again next year. And now, in 3 weeks, well, actually, as of the airing of this show, in 2 weeks, will be the King and Queen of the Ring in Saudi Arabia. For the men's, I think it's going to come down to Gunther and Jey Uso in the finals.
I see that. And I'm on both sides of that. I wouldn't mind seeing either one of those.
Oh, wait a minute. No, it's not going to happen that way because Gunther and Jey are both on Raw. The winner of Raw and the winner of SmackDown will face in the final. So,
here's another little twist there. You could do a Jimmy and later on down the line, if they throw Jimmy and Jay getting back together, they can do the whole swap a root.
Oh, there's no way they're going to be able to pull that off. Not now. 5 years ago, they would have been able to, but not now. You can tell too much of a difference between them two. But 5 years ago, they would have been able to pull that off. I'm going to say that the finals for King of the Ring will be Gunther and LA Knight. And for Queen of the Ring, I'm going to go Zoe Stark and Tiffany Stratton.
That would be good.
Yeah.
I see, if that's the two, I see Tiffany winning it. I see Gunther. I see him winning that one.
Probably have King of the Ring in Raw and Queen of the Ring with SmackDown. Split them up so that both winners are not in the same brand.
Mm-hmm. That would make more sense.
Yeah. So Gunther as King of the Ring and Tiffany Stratton as Queen of the Ring.
That's my predictions. Let's see what happens.
And that'll be in just a couple weeks.
Yeah.
May 25th.
Really? That's right around the corner.
That's the day after my daughter's birthday.
I got so much going on this month, it's ridiculous.
Yeah, me too.
I'm off that day. I work that Sunday.
Huh?
I work the next day after.
So, Backlash France. So, Nick had been asking us to do a letter grade lately. There's no question. Backlash, A+. A lot of pluses, really.
Yeah.
There's no way around that.
Yeah, it's I don't say just as good as WrestleMania, but it's right under.
Better.
Yeah, crowd made it good.
Yeah. The Saudi Arabia is next, and then they will be in Scotland, then back to America, and then back in Germany. So the next three big events, they got some big shoes to follow.
Hopefully SummerSlam will be epic.
SummerSlam is going to be in Detroit. So we'll see how that goes. All right, we're getting ready to close in on 2 hours, so we need to end. Well, we got that little break there that I'll be cutting out.
Okay.
So yes,
maybe you can put a technical difficulty right before you do it.
Actually, I
Please
could.
stand by. Please stand by.
Yeah, but I
Just
can't
for
for the entire length though.
No, just do it for 5 seconds.
Yeah, that I can do. Okay, so for everybody who's been watching this show, thank you for joining us and probably trying to play along with us. Remember, this has been a pre-tape show. And as far as the following Sunday, let's see, this is going to be airing on the 12th. The following Sunday is the 19th.
I got nothing going on.
Okay, so we can actually go live on that day.
Yep.
And we will figure out what we're going to do on that day, whether if it's another pay-per-view review or talking about some current stuff or whatever. We'll figure that out. We got a couple of weeks. So
Yeah.
anyway, everybody out there in the audience, thank you. And we will see you guys next time.
Happy Mother's Day to all the mothers out there.
Yes, happy Mother's Day. Bye, everybody.